Hello everyone and welcome to the Enchanted Studio. Today's episode will be a little bit different than usual because today we have Q&A session, and thank you to everyone who asked the question via Instagram stories. Yeah, let's begin answering the questions. Messages from Mercury asks, do you work at home or in a studio? I work from home. My studio right now is a corner of our living room, and yeah, I would like to have big space, but only to not be forced to clean every time after I'm painting. But to be honest, I don't need much space to create my paintings because they are not very big. I usually paint in size, I think 30 on 40 centimeters and or 40 on 50 centimeters. So it's not very big size of paintings. And the only issue I'm facing right now is that I have too many paintings and yeah, it became a problem to store them well, so they will be safe and not scratched, and humidity won't be changed a lot and so on. So this is the only problem. And yeah, and that you need to clean every time because I have 2 dogs and I don't want them in oil paint or, you know, eat something that they shouldn't. It may happen. Oh, sorry, there's second part of the question. How do you think it affects your productivity? Also tour, please. Okay, I think I will, at some point I will make a tour of my studio or my studio corner. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably I will. And how it affects my productivity, it's kind of, I don't know. To be honest, I like to have studio at my home. I think ideal situation for me would be to have like separate room dedicated for the studio, but I don't need like place where I need to, you know, travel to switch into kind of workplace mode or something like this. Keepless enough 38 asks what the message you want to get across with your art. It's a very interesting question, and how to answer that? In different time frames, I have different answers on these questions. With each painting, it might change a bit. And also, I think sometimes people overthink this because sometimes you have some idea or conceptualization or character or feeling you want to create, and it's very clear why you are doing this. You kind of can see your decisions in retrospective, but sometimes it's not clear. You have some image or feeling you want to express, and you do your best to do this. And the other thing is that I don't like to merge artists and their art too much. When I go to museum, I kind of want to know the history behind time period in some, I don't know, country, or like, you know, in which environment artists lived. But I don't want to be influenced too much. Like, I do want to interact with artwork more than with artist itself. I don't know if I can explain it well, but I don't think that fact that some artist cut his ear make his painting more interesting, right? It's kind of will help sell his work better, but I don't think it was the point of his art. And the other thing that I noticed is that, do you remember like songs when you listen to them like 20 years ago and you listen to them now, they have different impact on you, and you discover new things because you have much more experienced life. You have different, probably your values shifted or something like this, and this artwork became something else, and maybe much more than it was before. So I think art does not exist in isolation, in void, and it also it become alive when viewer interacts with it. So it doesn't really matter what message I want to get across with my art, because probably people will see something else, and only some little part of people will see the same things that I do. It's more to viewer to decide what my art about, and why I do, or why I paint what I paint. If I need to answer this question, I think there need to be variety of different characters, and I do like make my subjects main character, and not like, you know, there are a lot of painting, when you look at them, you kind of feel, it kind of feels like female characters, they are here to be observed just for the beauty purpose, or like something like this. And I want to make them main character. I was always inspired by strong female characters, like if you take fantasy, there are a lot of them, and I think this is one of the reasons why I love fantasy so much, because in imaginative world usually can be anything, and you can do anything. And I got a message on Instagram one time, and the man told me, you should not waste your talent painting women. You need to paint something else. So I don't like this message. And I don't think that people have right to tell you who you should paint or what you should paint, or trying to explain you why you paint certain things, because it's just projecting and you don't know anything about another person. Valerian asks your favorite brand of brushes to recommend for oils. So I prepared the answer here. My favorite brand of brushes are Rosemary brushes. One of the main reasons for that is because they have synthetic brushes, which feels like real one Kolinsky brushes. My favorite line so far is Eclipse Long is Eclipse One filbert. They look like this with a long handle, and also they have very long bristles. And the next series I like from Rosemary brushes is Evergreen Long Filbert. They are not like Kalinsky, but they were useful when you need to make very accurate brush marks, like very straight and not fuzzy. So they're very good for first layer after underpainting. And I also like to use in my routine pricey brushes like this one and cheaper one. I really like right now Transon sets. I also like the Da Vinci, I think it's called Da Vinci. If I'm not mistaken, Da Vinci is a German brand, but I hate to order brushes one by one because when I order Transon, I know that I will use every of these 10 brushes, so why do I need to spend time to pick them all again and again? So in this case, I prefer Transon. For cheaper brush sets, you can use them for acrylics, you can use them for to spread paint when you glazing, because eventually they, like when you hard brushing, it will usually ruin brush, and if brush like pricey like Rosemary, you don't want to do that. So not a question, but I love your art. Thank you very much. Next question, do you use references or paint all from your head? So I use references, and but I don't use them like, you know, I take a photo and try to copy it in my own way. No. The best way, the best option, it's not always like this, but the best option is when you create little thumbnails or sketches with your idea. So idea comes first, and probably you will plan your value scheme or basic design in small format with your pencil or medium you like. The next step, you go to your collection of reference photos and try to pick one which are similar in pose and lighting, or if you don't have that, you can make a photo of yourself or your friend. After that, I'm starting to painting usually in Procreate, so I'm making kind of I'm creating mock-up. It's almost like a collage of my ideas and reference photo. So for example, it might be the person, then which I put my first layer in Procreate, and then I'm starting to involve this idea. I may change clothes, I may change color, and of course I will create the surroundings from zero. I'm not trying to copy face, I only using this as a reference for lighting, and it's always my decision what I want to take for reference or what I let go, because sometimes less details is better than just copying everything. How do you do your intro animation when it says foxiness? I make my videos right now in DaVinci Resolve, and to get any animation or music and other additional stuff that I need, I use Envato Elements. It's a subscription-based service where you can download fonts and music and even find stock photography. So it's very useful if you start YouTube to get subscription on Envato. How long on average does each painting take you? It depends on many factors. It depends on how well I solved all technical questions and design questions before I start painting, because sometimes because of laziness or because of I want to rush into the painting, I can skip some steps, and I shouldn't have done this, and then it will increase production time of painting. Usually, and also I noticed that I started to paint much faster, but I need bigger breaks between sessions to operate in better ways. So I would say that 40 hours is an average to create painting, but of course if you add gold leaf or it has too many small details and so on, it will increase. And again, if some design problem will pop up which you don't know how to resolve, it might take you a few tries to handle this. And you also need to include preparation time before you start painting. And I'm excluding time while I'm waiting, while paint is dry, or before varnish painting. And I usually paint 2 paintings in parallel. So, for example, on Monday I paint one, I work on first painting, and while the layer is drying, on Tuesday I'm working on the second one, and on Wednesday I will come back to the first one. I think it's a very good approach because it helps you to keep your eye fresh and to not waste time while you waiting paint to dry. Niharika Art asks, did you learn art from somewhere or self-taught artist? Okay, I don't have any official document, and I didn't study at art school or art university, art college. So I can say in this regard that I'm self-taught artist, but I didn't learn everything just from my head. I read books and I watched trainings online, and I also tried to analyze other people's art and try to figure out how they do this and why it works. So I think in our modern time it is quite enough to learn technicalities of how to do paintings or I don't know, any other form of art, but what you will miss in this approach is that at some point you will need to have someone more experienced to critique your work, to help you grow faster. And I had this opportunity during training with Brianna Lee Art. You can find her on Instagram, on YouTube, and it was very helpful experience because sometimes you do things and you kind of might be unsure if you do it right or you do it wrong, and it's very helpful if you find artists whose work you inspired by, what do you like to paint like, and take critique from this person. I would not recommend you to ask for critique just random persons on internet or artists whose work is not what you want to do, because they can give you wrong advice, which is true for them but not true for you. So you need to be very careful who you listen to. there were many questions about zodiac series. Everyone wants to see their sign, and I made almost all of them, and you can go to my website and check if I did your zodiac sign. Probably I already did, you just don't see it on social media. I think it's all questions I have for today, and I hope some answers was interesting or, I don't know, useful. Let me know, and if you want to know something else, please ask your questions in the comments below in the video. It will help to boost it, and please subscribe and ring the bell and all the things you need to do on YouTube. So I hope to see you in the next video, and I apologize that this video took me so long. The main reason was because I'm not native English speaker, and I'm very afraid to improvise in real time, but I decided that if I write down all my answers, it would be not so interesting to listen, and yeah, it's better to do with mistakes, but in real time and with improvisation and speak from your heart. So I hope it worked out well, and yeah, see you next time. No more bumbling. I'm sorry, I don't know. Yeah, bye bye.